Will you pray with me? Merciful and generous and loving God, God of wisdom, thank you for this worship celebration. Thank you for the gathering of your people here at this moment. Thank you for the privilege and honor that it is. And we bring all of who we are to this moment, especially to this preaching moment. We ask that you hallow it, make it sacred, less of me and more of you. Reveal yourself to your people. Let your wisdom go forth, that people will hear and be transformed. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of every heart present and in earshot be acceptable with thee. You are our rock, our redeemer. You are our wisdom. We thank you. Amen. The reading was from Proverbs. The Hebrew word that is usually translated as proverb can also be translated as oracle. And upon learning that fact, I immediately thought about a character from the movie The Matrix, who is simply known as the Oracle. And you know how much I love this movie. And in the movie, which is set nearly 100 years in the future, the world has been taken over by machines. And the machines control human beings by connecting them biomechanically to their own systems of machines and computers, using sophisticated software to create what for humans is the very real material world in which they live. And now there are some of these humans who have successfully freed themselves and others from the machine world, and they have to figure out how to survive, how to make choices, how to live. And these free humans are not without gifts and resources to fight the machines, to live, to survive. And one significant resource they possess is the wisdom imparted to them by the oracle. And the oracle is a wise, gentle woman who helps them discern how they are to live and thrive and survive in this cold, violent, unforgiving world. They do not know from where she comes. They have little knowledge about how she knows what she knows, but she is the only source of wisdom to which they can appeal if they hope to survive in this world. And the wisdom she imparts is not for wisdom's sake. She's not some know-it-all that dishes it out for her own self-aggrandizement. No, the wisdom that she imparts, it suggests to them that they must make choice. They must make choices, and they have to act. The wisdom is not theirs to sit on. They have to do something. And I want you to keep that image in mind of the oracle as we talk about this text, as we talk about Proverbs. You see, wisdom is personified here in the book of Proverbs as Lady Wisdom, Sophia. And she can indeed be described as humanity's oracle. But unlike that character in the movie, this oracle is, and if you don't know anything else about her, let me tell you who wisdom is so you walk out here knowing it. This oracle, this Lady Wisdom, is the very wisdom of God given to humanity. She is here to aid us in our attempt to discern how to live honorably, how to judge rightly, how to choose wisely. And we have to do that in a world that is filled with all kinds of trinkets and funny things and fancy things and money and riches of all kinds, of the pretty boys and the hot women, of all the things that you can do. Wisdom is there to help us discern how to live honorably, how to judge rightly, how to choose wisely. And I'm not talking about, you say, Pastor, why do we have to do that? No, this is not moralism. No, don't get it confused. This is not the wagging finger of the holier than thou person. No, it is that we go through life having to make choices. And the question for us is, how do I know I made the right one? Now, we know when we make the wrong ones. It's all too clear when we screwed up. But this wisdom that we're talking about is, how do I know what is the right thing to do? And if you're wondering if it's just about us, we're reading a text from the ancient world. So everybody throughout time have been figuring out how to make right choices. Everybody, no matter who they are, have been trying to wonder, how am I going to live honorably and judge rightly and choose wisely? So wisdom, this gift from God. Proverbs says wisdom was created in the beginning before all of creation. She was the very first of God's acts. It was by wisdom that God founded the earth and by the understanding that God established the heavens. They say that wisdom was there when the mountains and the heavens and the fountains of the deep were formed. Wisdom was right there beside God, delighting and rejoicing in God's good creation. Particularly, they say, wisdom loved human folk. She liked us. She cared for us just as God did. And then they said, wisdom speaks what is right, and she speaks what is righteous. She provides good advice and sound wisdom. She's like the oracle in the Matrix. And she stands ready with an invitation to all of humanity to receive wisdom, to walk in the way of insight, to know goodness and justice. So what we need to know is, endowed with wisdom, we can make good choices. We can act. And so in our text today, which all could stand on their own, it's as if she just starts spouting them off. It's as if at some moment she says, I'm just going to start rattling off ways of doing things. No particular order. You can pick what you want, but if you pick even one of them, you'll behold yourself in good stead. And so she said, a good name is to be chosen rather than riches. This observation is clear even to the ancient people. A good name, choose a good name. Don't worry about riches. And so if you thought that the ancient world heard this, they go back into their mind, they think about Jacob, their patriarch, the one that they call when they were in their prayers, Jacob. His name used to mean, is a variation on the word usurper, because he tricked his brother out of his birthright. So all his life, Jacob becomes known as the trickster, the usurper, the one who tricked his brother. And then in a moment of trying to understand and trying to choose, an angel appears to him, and the Bible says that Jacob wrestled with the angel and said, I won't let go. I won't let go until you bless my soul. And then the angel blessed him and said, you got a name was given. Rich, I don't care if you're poor. God says, come. I don't care if you're rich or you're poor. Wisdom say, have wisdom. Oh, nobody is left out of the love and grace of God or the invitation to dwell in God's embrace. And so all God's children are included in the loving kindness of a gracious God. Even Jesus in his Sermon on the Mount would extend this bit of wisdom to both disciples and unbelievers, claiming that God makes the sun to rise on both the evil and the good, and sends the rain on both the righteous and the unrighteous. God is a radical egalitarian. Oh, wisdom lets us know we don't treat anybody differently. We treat everyone the same. Wisdom knows, she said, wisdom knows the dangers of injustice and the destruction it creates in its wake. She declares, whoever sows injustice will reap calamity. Oh, a bit of good wisdom. If you sow the wrong things, you'll get destruction. And if you look at it, if you think about it, she is deadly right. Oh, people sow so many wrong things. And so in its wake, we have things like racism and exclusion and prejudice and homophobia, intolerance and discrimination. And they create so much pain. They create so much hurt. And she said it, she told them right in the beginning, if you sow these things, you will get these terrible things. And even the good we claim and the covet can be a source of great calamity if we sow injustice. Oh, one only has to observe humanity to see that even the good things of God's good creation, sex, wealth, honor, possessions, oh, they can all be good, but they also hold with them the temptation to abuse and idolatry. They unleash a range of temptations, and many of them can be self-serving and violent. But God has endowed us with the will to justice. So if she claims those who sow injustice, she also knows that we have within us to sow justice. We have a choice to make. She lets us know that it is all a choice. Wisdom advises us, and this is the good one, not only to share our bread with the poor, but she tells us to stop robbing the poor. Isn't that something? Even before we coined the term, the rich got richer and the poor got poorer, wisdom said, don't rob the poor. Life is already hard for them. Don't steal from them. She just so it's beautiful. She said, feed them. And then, by the way, stop stealing from them. Oh, look at wisdom. Look at wisdom. She knew that we have failed to feed God's hungry and hurting people. She knows that we have let the vulnerable lay out to the waste. She knows our tendency to forget them. But you see, Jesus even knew that bit of wisdom followed him even to his ministry, and he proclaimed that his own ministry was based on proclaiming good news to the poor. And if anyone doubted that that was his ministry, he said that God is going to judge people. God is going to judge the nations. But what the judgment is going to be is not on whether you knew what to say or how many times you came to worship, but the judgment would be on us. Whether we gave food to the hungry, whether we gave drink to the thirsty, whether we gave welcome to the stranger, whether we gave clothes to the naked, that's how we're going to be judged. So wisdom was warning us. Take care of the poor. Oh, we have a choice. We have a choice. We have a choice to make. And that choice means that we also have to act. So as you're sitting there thinking about it, how am I going to live honorably? How am I going to judge rightly? How am I going to choose wisely? Oh, think about wisdom. And think about the questions we have to ask ourselves. Will we trust the God of wisdom who has delivered us so many times before? Will we choose the good and the just? Or will we look the other way? Or remain silent in the face of injustice? Will we embrace wisdom calls to show justice for all? The Catholic priest Matthew Fox has declared, wisdom is dying. Wisdom is dying. And what he meant by that is not that we aren't smart people, not that we don't have access to technology, not that we don't know any number of things, not that we're advancing the society way with the skills and technology that we have, but wisdom is dying. We've ignored Lady Wisdom. We've ignored her exhortations. We've ignored what she said. We are not making the choices she's laid before us. We have decided on our own to get what belongs to us. Oh, but Lady Wisdom is there to offer us the wisdom of the ancients. She's asking us to learn righteousness and justice and equality. She's saying share with the poor. And she's saying sow justice for all. Oh, I know. Humanity is endowed with free will. They like to throw that around. We have free will. Yes, we do. But it also means that we have to make a choice. Just as the wisdom of the ancient world posed the choice to the people of Israel, the choice before humanity today is to either embrace the goodness and justice of God's wisdom or to pursue the perceived good of something other than God. And so many nations, so many people, so many corporations have ignored the invitation to the banquet of life. They've ignored the exhortation to live honorably and to judge rightly and choose wisely. And they've gone to consuming. And the mantra is consume widely, amass wealth quickly, succeed individually. That's what it tells us. Oh, and don't get me wrong. Don't say, Pastor is talking against wealth. I won't turn wealth down. And I love good things. But the idea of living honorably and choosing wisely and judging rightly, it makes having wealth, having those possessions, all the much more beautiful. That if you can share your bounty, if you can share your wisdom, if you can lift up your sisters and your brothers, if you can embrace your siblings who are poor, if you can include those who've been excluded, if you can bring justice to a hurting world, if you can provide space for those refugees coming from all over those war-torn areas, if you can provide food, if you can make 1,000 sandwiches for people who need them, if you can just open your door and provide some warmth, oh, the wealth that you have, wisdom will celebrate with you. Oh, choose wisely. If we accept Lady Wisdom's invitation, we may move that much closer to shalom. Oh, in Israel, they believed in God's shalom, a place of God's peace and harmony and welfare for all people. You know, we talk about all God's children. We say that, and we say it over in our name of our church, and we even say we want to be all God's children for all God's children. Well, if we're going to really live into that, oh, we need to marry ourselves to Lady Wisdom, to the oracle, who will help us and guide us to live honorably, to judge rightly, and to choose wisely. Amen.